Okay, hi, it is Monday. That means it's time for another weekly vlog, and I'm immediately starting off by saying I finished a book. You didn't expect that one, did you? It just that I woke up and I edited my vlog, and then I immediately started reading, and then I couldn't put it down until I finished it, and now I finished it, and I need to talk about it to someone because this was so good. Okay, in case you don't know, this is We Brought the Gates was about to get the third book in the Number in the Ashes series. Why is the fourth book only coming out in December? That's not a long wait, but like, still. So this series follows two perspectives. In the first book, Leia and Elias. At the beginning of the book, Leia's house gets raided by the masks, who are like kind of super soldier type people with a mask on. That's why they're called masks. And her house is being raided because her brother is suspected of spying on them, which, you know, isn't allowed. They end up capturing her brother. She manages to escape, and she goes to the rebels to ask them to help him escape because it's their fault he's in prison, and they agree to it on the condition that Leia goes in to the school for the masks as a slave to spy on them and give information to the rebels that they need. And we follow Elias, who is a mask in training, about to graduate and about to desert, and then at his graduation these trials get announced to pick the new emperor, as the current emperor doesn't have an heir, and Elias gets picked to be in these trials, and shit hits the fan, especially in this one. 5 out of 5 stars, no doubt about that. God, just, I'm speechless. It was so good. There were so many plot twists in here that like I saw coming a little bit, but they were extremer than I thought they were gonna be. Like I said, shit hit the fan in this book. I don't really want to say more about that. It was very action-packed, very high stakes, and oh my god. I loved the world building we did in this book, and I loved the character work we did in this book as well. There was a lot of character growth throughout it, and I need the fourth book. That's all I'm gonna say. What I'm currently reading still is Disfigured, which is a non-fiction book about disabilities in fairy tales, like their representation and what that means. I'm only chapter 1, so like I don't know anything, but I started this on recommendation of Books and Lala because she's been talking about it in her past couple of videos and she loves it, so I wanted to check it out as well. What I'm going to read now is there is a graphic novel, a prequel graphic novel set in this world following Helene, Elias, and another character in their training to become a mask. I'm going to read that because I need more in this world. You might say to me, why not save it till December? Like somewhere in between to, like, you know, bridge the gap. I'm not doing that, I need that right now. So I'm gonna read that. And I'm probably gonna read the other book. But yeah. I hope you enjoyed this vlog, and I'll see you later. Bye. Hi, it's Friday. It is almost 10 p.m. Time is weird. I've had a weird day where I just didn't really feel like doing anything. I did manage to film a video, but for the rest and yeah, I'm apologizing for not having vlogged at all. Well, I've done like little montage clips over the rest of the week, but I haven't like checked in with you since Monday, so sorry about that. Honestly, just like the week has continued, I've like read less and less, so yeah, I don't know what's been happening to me recently. I think it might be a little bit of like subconscious stress for school because I'm starting school on the 21st. I'm not ready for, so, and yeah, I'm a bit, I don't know, I've been feeling a bit strange today, just like the entire day. Even Modern Family hasn't been like hyping me up or like making me happy, which is weird because I've been obsessed with that show. Still am. If you want to know my progress on Modern Family, I started watching it in my first weekly reading blog, and I'm already on season 7, which some people might not be like, oh, like this is like my 4th week weekly vlogging, I think. Is it? I think it is. So most people be like, oh, 7 seasons in a month isn't a lot, but like that's not been my main media consumption or entertainment consumption. I've been focusing mostly on reading, and when I'm not doing that, I'm watching mainly YouTube videos because that's what I do when my brain decides to not do anything. I watch YouTube videos. Or I start scrolling through TikTok if my attention span also just isn't there. So Modern Family hasn't been like my main form of entertainment, yet I'm already on season 7, which is so weird. Let's actually give you a reading update, which is why you're here. I actually finished 2 books since the last talk to you. One of which was a graphic novel, so don't get your hopes up. I read the Naman Yash's graphic novel, which is A Thief Among the Trees, I believe. And this, I don't know if I explained what this is. This is a prequel novella for the Naman Yasha series following Elias and Helena, one of their friends, in their 5th year of their training, or at least, I don't know if it's exactly like their 5th year. They call them the Fivers, but the way I understood it in the first book, it's more than a year, but I'm confused. But it's about them being sent on like a mission and shit happening, and it's fine. I give it 4 to 5 stars. I really liked being able to see the people Elias and Helena are gonna become in the future, because of course like it's a prequel novel and like the author of course already knew where they're gonna end up, but I feel like often like in prequels it's like either complete opposite and towards the end like they switch, or they're like the same as how they start in book 1, and I feel like that wasn't the case in here. I like the fact that they were different from how we were introducing them in book 1, but I do see them heading towards that path, which I enjoy. I also really like the art style, and the story was fun. I mean, it did have some hard-hitting moments. Obviously, it's set in this world, but I feel like overall it was just like a fun adventure. And yeah, other book I finished is Disfigured by Amanda Leduc, I think is how I pronounce the last name. This is a non-fiction book about disabled representation in fairy tales mainly, and I picked this up from, like, I read this on script after Books and Lala read it and recommended it, but I give it 2 out of 5 stars. I do still recommend this to people because I do think this is something you should read, probably, especially as like an able-bodied person. Educate yourself on disabled voices and representation and shit like that, because I feel like when we talk about representation, disabilities isn't a part of that often. So go read this. I do think that the discussion the author is putting forward is an interesting one, and I'm glad that she discussed it, but I didn't mesh with the writing. That was my main problem. I just thought the writing was a bit all over the place. Like it would jump to different things, and I was like, why are we talking about this? It doesn't really have to do with the rest. It was just like you started with one thought and then you jumped to another, and then you came back to that first one, but like it was a bit confusing at times to really understand what was going on and what like the point was of that chapter or that paragraph even sometimes. I just lost my train of thought. I'm sorry. Oh, I'm criticizing a book for not being able to like keep one thought together, and I'm also not being able to do that. Yeah, and I don't know. I thought some things were a little bit over explained, and like I said before, like sometimes the author went a bit off topic and just things got a bit repetitive at certain points as well. So I don't know, I didn't like all the things I didn't like about this book were purely writing based. Then I'm also currently reading King of Scars by Lee Widugo because I wanted to have a physical book going as well, and I don't know why I decided to start this one because it's huge, but I just got an effort to read this book. It is one of my 5-star predictions, and I would like to wind up that video, so to read all my 5-star predictions so I could do a video about that. So I'm 100 pages into this and I am enjoying it kind of, I don't know, I feel kind of meh about it. I think we've just gotten like introduced to like the main storylines in this book, and I don't know, it's intriguing, but I'm also not completely sold on it yet, so we'll see where this goes. You didn't know this is, I'm not gonna explain too much about this, but this is a duology that's set in the Grisha world, and it takes place after both the original Grisha duology and the Six of Course duology. It's important you read those first because this follows characters from that series as well, so it's directly related. And we follow Nikolai, we follow Zoya, and we follow Nina on their paths to whatever. I don't know. I'm only 100 pages in. A lot can change. But I'm not going to continue reading that right now because I need something a little bit more cheery and happy. And this isn't really that. It's not sad, but like, it's fantasy. Fantasy's never happy. That's not true. But most fantasy isn't happy. So I want to start one of the galleys I need to read this month, which is pretty funny for a girl. I don't know the author's name, I'm so sorry. But this book follows a girl who wants to be a stand-up comedian. And that's all I know about it. I'll probably give you more of a synopsis once I actually started reading it, but I just thought this would be a good option because it might be funny, you know. I hope so, because otherwise the title is a bit ridiculous. But yeah, I'll leave with you on that later. Oh, I also want to say that I'm gonna try and make this weekend a reading weekend, even though I don't know how that's gonna go, because I wanted to try to make this whole week a reading week, and that's not happened yet. But I want to try and focus more on reading this weekend, so hopefully that will work out. And yeah, now I'm done talking. Bye. It's Sunday. It's gonna be a quick update because I'm tired and I completely forgot to do this. So this reading weekend hasn't been going too well, but I finished the book, so that's something. On Friday I didn't read anything because just stuff happened that I didn't really expect to happen, so I didn't get around to reading anything. And then Saturday I actually read a lot. I read the most in one day that I've done so far this month. Like I said, I finished the book, and that's Pretty Funny for a Girl by Rebecca Elliott. I give this 1 star. I hated it. It's about a girl who wants to be a comedian but is really scared of performing, and then one day at a school's talent show, this guy that she has a slight crush on performs stand-up comedy, and then of course her crush becomes huge and she ends up writing comedy for him. And there's a lot more going on into this book, but there's like the major plot points. And yeah, I hated it. I don't want to talk about it because that list update isn't gonna be short. Editing me here, and surprise, surprise, I went on a mega long rant, so I'll cut that out. But I will leave my review for this book in the description, so you can go read that because I ranted in that one as well. So yeah, don't read this, is the main message you should get from everything. But let's talk about King of Scars. I didn't read much of this yesterday because I just have such a hard time. I'm not into this story at all. I just feel very distant from everything. I'm not grasping everything perfectly. And I thought yesterday, because I was reading this pretty late, that it might have been just like the time that I was reading it. And, you know, tired, not being able to focus. But then I read it today, and I got halfway through it. I'm on page 269, which is starting the second part, and I still feel the same way. I don't care about anything that's happening in this book. The only thing I care about is... Okay, so in Nina's storyline, there is this girl, and I don't remember if this is canon or if I'm pulling this out of my ass, but I believe Nina is bi. So, you know what's going on in my brain. If you don't, what are you doing here? So that's the only thing I'm mildly interested in at this point, and like the only thing I'm actually invested in. But for the rest, this is boring, which I don't like because I love Nikolai and I love Nina. Even though like I'm getting their charms like off the page, I'm getting that in moments, but I just like, well, it feels kind of boring. I'm not really pulled into the story. I'm not invested at all. I don't like Zoya. I know a lot of the things said about this book is that I actually started to like Zoya. I don't remember her from the original trilogy because my memory is shit. So I had no like ideas of who she was. I had no prejudices against her starting this book. But now I don't like her. Like, I get her background a little bit. Of course, I haven't gotten the full scope of it, but I do get where she like came from and why she is who she is, but I don't like it. So this came like the Helene. I didn't in the Number in the Actress series, which I also read a bit of in this week. There was a character named Helene who I hate, but I get her in a way. You know, I sympathize with her and I like appreciate her storyline, but I hate her. I feel like Zoya is gonna be the same for me in this. I do think Nina's storyline is slightly more interesting, but Nikolai's and Zoya's storyline has a lot of world building going on to it, and I'm interested in that as well because we don't know that much about Wafka, even though we spent like an entire trilogy in it. So yeah, that's that for this week's vlog. I'll see you guys next week. Bye.